This is Audi's E-Tron GT. And it looks a little bit plain, especially in this white color, but that's rich coming from me because I've always said that electric cars look too futuristic. This one looks kind of normal-ish. The price, however, is futuristic. At just under 3 million rand, this car is taxed heavily and unfortunately priced up thanks to legislation. But what is this car like to drive every day? Well, let's go find out. Starting up the E-Tron is a very strange experience. There's absolutely no sound to speak of. In fact, it's so quiet in here that if I was to turn up the audio system, the 16-speaker audio system, it sounds like I'm at the concert or in the studio. You see, with a normal car, you get resonance and noise and engine notes that clash with other notes. In a car like this, all you get is fantastically crisp and good audio and no background noise. The interior, though, is much like every Audi. When it comes to the screens, you've got Audi's virtual cockpit over here, and then, of course, you've got Audi's brand new interface. But the curves and swooshes inside this car, carbon fiber bits and pieces, don't feel like any other Audi I've ever driven. Very unique feel inside the car. Because this is a sports coupe, you don't get that much space at the back, but it's sufficient. You do get 405 liters of boot space though, which is not bad if you compare it to an average hatchback. But a lot of that can be taken up by the spare wheel, so be sure to check that out if you want to be going far with lots of luggage. A conversation about an electric car would not be complete without the range discussion, and this one does between 350 and 450 kilometers on a tank. That tank will cost you in the region of 250 rand to fill up. Pretty competitive when compared to internal combustion engines. I'm currently on less than 100 kilometers range, and yes, I'm still feeling a little bit range anxious, but I'm on my way to a 75 kilowatt fast charger that was just installed at one of the Audi centers here in Cape Town. So there are many more charging stations popping up all over the country. Of course, this is a performance car, and performance cars need to perform. So I'm gonna select my performance seat position, stick the car into dynamic mode, and go enjoy all 400 kilowatts underfoot. Handling on the car is good because there are two distinctions to be had here. Grip levels are insane. The car absolutely sticks to the road thanks to the tires and suspension and very low center of gravity. The speed that you can get around corners is just incredible. Now that doesn't necessarily translate into good handling though, because at the limit, it gets a little bit disappointing. But the limits are so high that you're often not going to be anywhere near them. I'm strapped into an absolute rocket ship. The front of the car pushes out ever so gently as one starts to get understeer, and the brakes can feel a little spongy. But driving at anything below 80%, you're driving an absolute weapon. So it's not all good news with the E-Tron GT. It's flawed, and I think many electric cars are going to be for the foreseeable future. The technology is new, it's still evolving, and ICE cars are just better because of 100 years of development. The thing about this car is that it doesn't need to be shaped like a car. I could be sitting at the nose of the car and this car could be half a meter wide. The electric car is still very much in its fledgling state, and this is one of the best electric cars out there. But when you look at what you can get for the money, I'd rather get a Panamera and spend the change on somebody's first car.